It's time for Ask the Expert on News Talk 1340 and 96.3 FM, KWLM.
Yeah, thanks for joining us once again. And Will Brueske from Heritage Bank joining us. He is the Treasury Management and Deposit Strategist for Heritage Bank. Will, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
Had a little drive out here to join us today, so thanks for doing that.
Yes, of course. I stayed up late for the games last night, though, but still made it here this morning.
Yeah, the Wolves and Wild. We've been sitting here talking sports. I never even asked you about what we're going to talk about on the air today. We're both huge sports fans, so we were talking about the Twins. You're a New Ulm guy originally, so a big baseball guy.
Huge baseball guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a terrific town for baseball. I've called several games, and beautiful stadium you have down there calling Cardinal games. So.
Yeah, Johnson Park. That's where I grew up.
Gorgeous. Yeah. And then what is the German eatery that's right downtown there that has the awesome barbecue right there in New Ulm? Maybe it's been a while since you lived there. Oh, I wish I could remember it. Anyway, after Cardinal game, that's right where I went for barbecue. Okay. They have this pink barbecue sauce.
Oh, Kaiserhoff.
Kaiserhoff. Oh, yes. What's that good?
I played for that amateur baseball team. That's the amateur baseball team my dad coached, the Kaiserhoff. Yeah, I call him the K.
I played against New Ulm way back in the, I don't know, you might have been born, but that would have been about mid-'80s.
Yeah. It's funny story. My dad used to know that owner, Don Weigel, I think his name was.
Sure.
And so we would always get that sauce. We got the recipe as well.
So. You did?
Yes.
That was really good.
It's great sauce.
That's terrific sauce. That's right. I got to get down there. Now you're making me hungry. All right. So tell us, as a Treasury Management Deposit Strategist, what do you do for Heritage Bank?
Yeah, it's a great question. So my job is to figure out, right, let's talk deposits, right? How to figure out how to bring more customers to our financial institution. When we talk deposits, we're talking primarily checking accounts, savings accounts. So if you look at it from a new customer perspective, what do customers want to see? What solutions, what services do they want to see in their financial institution that'll bring them to our bank, right? And of our current customers, right, gone are the days where people will have just one financial institution that they bank with. Nowadays, they have 2, 3, 4 financial institutions. So of our current customers, if we're not their primary financial institution, again, what services, what solutions do they want to see that'll bring us top of mind as their primary financial institution? So that's on the deposit side. On the treasury management side, that's basically how businesses move their money on a daily basis. So we're talking ACH, stands for automated clearinghouse, or wire transfers, things like that, remote deposit capture. What kind of services, what kind of solutions will our businesses want in order to provide more business and more solutions from a treasury management perspective to their business? What do they want to see? A lot of people just need education as well with what services, what solutions we offer today, how they work, how they can work most efficiently for their business operations on a day-to-day basis. So that's primarily what I do at the bank.
In the age of technology, boy, there's a lot of ways for people to do their banking, to deposit their money, to withdraw it. Some of your consumers are of an age where a lot of this technology came along when they were already a little later in life. So explaining that and getting your customers comfortable with some of the new technologies, probably part of it as well.
Oh, it's definitely an education at all ages. Even the Gen Zers, the millennials, it's still an education for them because things are constantly evolving, constantly changing. And I love it. I love technology and I love constant change. It's what really excites me. So I'm happy to talk about it. Typically, banks, what they like to do is do webinars, right? Mm-hmm. Financial institutions love to do webinars in order to educate not only current customer base, but also prospects as well. Businesses are the same. So,
different ways to make those deposits technology-wise. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, from a consumer perspective, right, you can do it the old method. You can go to the branch, make your deposit. You can do it at the ATM. You can do it right from the convenience of your mobile phone, right, and do mobile deposits there, snap in that phone. From a business perspective, right, you can still receive checks these days. You know, some businesses will have lock boxes set up with when they have many checks being sent to them. Otherwise, they can get them set directly to their business, and they can have what's called remote deposit capture that we offer at our bank, where they can simply make those deposits straight from the confines of their desk in their own office. So we have scanners that, 50 check batch feeds, 100 check batch feeds, right? So very quick, very easy, very simple, very efficient ways of depositing funds these days, whether it's consumer or business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So talk about that remote check deposit from your own desk? Do you take a picture of the check? How do you do that?
No, great question. On the consumer side, you take you take a picture of the check front and back. But from a business perspective, we provide them a scanner, kind of like what we have at banks, right? And you can, instead of inserting one check at a time, which can be very time consuming if you have a lot of checks, you can put in all the checks, right? And so it depends on the type of scanner you have. Some can do 50 batch feeds, some can do 100 batch feeds, just dependent on the type of scanner you have based on the need of the business.
The 50 batch, 100 batch, that's what you're referencing there. Boy, that's terrific for businesses, especially if they deal with a lot of checks coming in, a lot of in and out, to help make things smoother, that process smoother for them.
It's very efficient for the business. And from a bank perspective, we miss seeing their beautiful faces in the branches, but it's very efficient for them, and they love it.
Yeah, I got to admit, I like walking into my bank.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel good. Everybody greets you. They're nice.
Exactly.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
So for the consumer, compare and contrast a debit card versus a credit card. Is one better for bill pay and the other? Talk about the two and the differences between them.
Yeah, great question. From a consumer perspective, the debit card versus credit card. So a debit card is basically paying with cash, right? Typically, a debit card is connected to either your checking or your savings, typically your checking account, right? So when you're using your debit card, you're basically taking the funds from your checking account. So you're paying right then and there, right? Typically, consumers will use their debit card for everyday transactions, regular monthly payments like a car payment, house payment, things of that nature if they have it connected to their card. From a credit card perspective, it's basically buy now, pay later. It's basically what a credit card is built for. Typically, consumers that use credit cards is for some of those bigger purchases, maybe emergency type purchases. Sometimes when you have rewards. I used to have a buddy. He used to make all of his payments with his credit card because he wanted the reward points, right? And he loved doing that. Now, everyone's a little different than how they do that, but the typical consumer only uses their credit card for bigger purchases, more emergency type things, building their credit, right? That's what a credit card is meant for.
Does a debit card help build credit?
No. Yeah, because you're taking funds right from your checking account, right from your savings accounts if that's connected as well. So you have the money right then and there. So there's no credit involved. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
There's mobile wallets too, like I have Google Pay. There's Apple Pay. People are using those more and more, it would seem.
Oh, yeah. People love the mobile wallets. So with our cards that we provide today on the, from a debit card perspective, we have the ability to add that to your mobile wallet. Instead of having the card on you, you can do it right from your phone, right? So I don't ever hardly carry cards on me anymore these days because all the machines have the ability to accept mobile wallet. And from a security perspective, a lot of people don't know this, that the mobile wallet is actually more secure a lot of times than an actual physical card. Because instead of actually submitting the actual card number through the system, it tokenizes that card number and sends out that token. And then there's a unique cryptographic code that is created for each transaction. So even if that information were to be taken, that information is no longer good because it's only good for that one unique transaction. So it's very secure. Plus, if you lose your phone, right, you have other things in place where whether it be facial recognition, thumbprint, in order to access those things. If you lose your phone, you can wipe your phone, right? If you lose your card, there's more security issues there. So that's why a lot of times people will say, mobile wallet is more secure than using an actual physical card.
Those RFID chips can be read, too, if there's bad actors in the area. Sometimes they set them up on gas pumps and so forth. You don't have that with the mobile wallet either.
No, yeah. Are you talking about the skimmers that they used to have? Yeah. So contactless payments are huge these days. So you don't have to deal with inserting your card and dealing with those types of issues like the skimmers brought. And it's funny because contactless payments, they've been around since the late 90s, right? If you remember the old mobile gas stations, they used to have like a key fob and you used to swipe or used to just wave it to pay. And that was the oldest form of contactless payment. Back in the early 2000s, then it became, I think MasterCard had, some sort of card that you would use. I think it was PayPass. It was strictly for the transit. For using the bus, the light rail systems and all that kind of stuff. And now in 2014, that's when the mobile wallets really came into the picture. But what they saw was a lot of consumers had the technology, but the businesses didn't have the technology to accept those types of payments. So a lot of times people wanted to use it, but they didn't have the ability to. Only the big businesses had that capability. So it really wasn't until COVID-19, the pandemic, where that contactless payment really came about, and then businesses went to that. They purchased the machines to be able to accept those types of payments, and now it's just through the roof. Now, basically, every card that's created today has that contactless capability.
Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah. There's other ways that people can pay each other, third-party systems like Zelle or PayPal or Venmo and those the like. Are those safe and consumer-friendly?
It's a loaded question. So P2P, we call it, person-to-person payments, right? So Zelle, Venmo are big ones. PayPal, like you mentioned. Cash App is another one. What we say with P2P payments is that if you don't know that person, probably don't want to send P2P payments, right? It's basically like sending somebody cash. Once it's gone, right? So typically we recommend to our customers only use P2P for friends and family. If you wouldn't give them cash face-to-face, probably don't send them a P2P payment. You hear a lot of horror stories when people are putting things on Facebook Marketplace, right, and dealing with bad actors that they don't know, especially those types of people that will want to pay right away without even seeing the product first, right? That's a clear-cut indicator that that's probably dealing with fraud, right? So when dealing with P2P, only typically want to send payments to friends and family. Now, the actual payment technology can be secure, but you don't know where that's going if it's not to your friends and family, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if you're dealing with, let's say, Facebook Marketplace, PayPal has certain things in place as far as protections are concerned, but they're one of the only ones. But that's for goods and services. So make sure that if you're purchasing something, especially, that you highlight that it's for goods and services. Then there are certain added protections. But that's about it from a P2P perspective with built-in protections for the consumer.
So they're going to, if that's gone, it's gone. It's like paying cash. Because I get asked all the time, would you prefer to pay with PayPal? And I guess I just blindly say, yeah, that's pretty simple and basic. I'll just do that. But I'm going to stop doing that.
It is very simple. Just know the person that you're sending the funds to, right? Friends, family, that's always what I tell my kids. That's what we tell our customers at our bank, at Heritage Bank, is know who you're dealing with. That's why we don't automatically provide that service. We have the service capabilities. We don't automatically provide it to a new customer. If they request it from us, then we provide it, but we like to educate them first too, just so they understand the consequences of dealing with people that you don't necessarily know. Yeah.
People are still paying a lot of their bills with checks. Still a secure way to do it. That's is it still more than 50% still paying with checks their bills, or how does it working out? Do you think?
It's a tad under 50%, but U.S. is still the number one country, right? Yeah. And then Canada's number two, but U.S. is still the number one country that pays with check. It's just one of those things, right?
Hard to let go of.
Exactly. And in banking, we always say you have to meet your customer where they are in their financial journey. Some people want to still make checks, write checks out. My mom, 87 years old, God bless her heart, still likes to write a check out, right? Yeah. And that's just the way it is.
And I'm usually standing behind her in line.
You're welcome. But especially businesses too. A lot of businesses still write checks today. So we have a service called Positive Pay, right? So for physical check and for ACH, automatic clearinghouse, for electronic payments. So we have something called Positive Pay, because there's a lot of fraud out there, especially when checks are involved. A lot of forging, a lot of stealing of checks, right? A lot of washing of checks. And so we have a service called Positive Pay that protects them from fraud, right? They send us check issuances. As long as the check issuances match when it comes to at presentment time for payment, we pay those checks. If it doesn't match their issuances, then that's a red flag. Then we present those checks to our customers, and then they can make the decision, pay or not pay. And that's why a service like Positive Pay, which is under the Treasury Management umbrella, that's why things like that are so important. From a Treasury Management perspective, it's really set up for a couple different reasons, right? To reduce fraud, right? To increase efficiencies from a business operating perspective, and then to maximize cash flow. Those are the three big things of why treasury management exists for businesses today, and that's what we bring to our customers at Heritage Bank.
Will, thanks so much for coming in, making the drive here from Maple Grove. All the best to you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. This was a blast. 15 minutes goes really fast.
Yeah, it goes fast, doesn't it?
Yes.
Will Brueske joining us from Heritage Bank. HeritageBankNA.com is the website.